Hello to the audience. I'm Thomas Prola from Funiver. I'm a project coordinator in Funiver, project manager, and I'm also the project co-coordinator of Digital TA, which is a teacher academy project. So here we have Maria Steger. I will present her later. This webinar will be about the Teacher Academy, 3 years working for a Europe of education. So the webinar will be in English because basically Maria talks in English and we think it's the best way to communicate. And this event is held in collaboration with the European University of the Atlantic, but also the International Ibero-American University of Puerto Rico and the International Ibero-American University of Mexico as the partners of this webinar. Thanks to Alejandro for all the support, the technical support. I will start talking a little bit about our teacher academy call. So this is a European call started in 2021 as a new call for funding. Basically, the Teacher Academy started with the objective of building a transnational academy for a future European teacher training curriculum. So now we have today the two first call were in 2022 and 2023, I think, Maria. So we are part of this, our project Digital TA and your project Silmi Academy is part of these two first calls. So the idea of this call is to work between partners on a European teacher training curriculum for the future in order to develop a better model for improving our teacher curriculum training in the national from this international perspective on the national level. So this event will be about these two experiences. We are talking about two very huge projects, 36 months of work. The event would want to summarize a little bit the main achievement of these two projects. The first one, is Maria will start talking about the Silmi project related to the context of disinformation and the risk in our democracies thanks to an integration of meta-scientific literacy skills. So this is the Silmi Academy. And the second Teacher Academy, the Digital TA Academy, is about the transition and how to develop support for a better transition for the young newly qualified teacher and also young students from the university to the first year of work. Now, I would like to present Maria. Maria Steger is the scientific coordinator of the Erasmus Plus, this Teacher Academy, Silmi. She has an academic background in theoretical and applied linguistics. She draws on 15 years of combined teaching and research experience. In addition, she served as an academic project manager in Innsbruck University and worked as an adjunct teacher trainer at the Bavarian State Academy for the Teacher Professional Development. Maria is also a project manager. She's an academic director of EduNet Europe. In that case, welcome Maria to this digital space. Before giving you the floor, I would like to say also to the audience that if you have some questions, you can send us the question by the chat of YouTube. You can also, send this question. And just after Maria's presentation, I will look for your question and I will ask Maria your question. So Maria, now it's your turn. Welcome, Maria. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Thomas, for this lovely introduction and for inviting us to present Skill Me to the audience. So welcome everyone in Europe and beyond in South America. I'm very happy to introduce you to our Teacher Academy, which is called Meta Scientific Literacies in the Misinformation Age, with the acronym being Skill Me. Thomas has already introduced me, so I'm going to skip this part and show you quickly what we are going to do today. I will introduce you to our consortium, then tell you why we did our academy in the way we did it, and show you some first results, and also present what we have to offer to you as future teachers and in-service teachers who are listening today. So let's start with our team. We are a partnership of 6 universities, 1 research institute, 2 foundations, and 1 NGO. Our team is very cross-disciplinary. We have experts from a quite diverse range of fields, such as science, inclusion, technology-enhanced teacher and learner interaction, digital literacies, media and information literacies, language, and so on. And together with our 24 associated partners, schools, universities, colleges of education, school networks, etc., we are spread quite nicely across Europe. So what is the context? What is the mission of our Teacher Academy? Obviously, we live in an era of digital transformation. We all know that. Clicks are changing the world, and very often for the better. Digital transformation has brought us much closer together. I know that many of you are listening now from South America, so far away from where we are, thanks to digital transformation. But there are many upsides, as we've just said, but there are also downsides. There's always good and bad things about most things. With one click, information can be spread much, much, much faster nowadays than it can be fact-checked. And it's getting harder and harder to know which sources are credible, which information is reliable, what to believe, basically. And we saw that particularly during the pandemic. I'm sure you remember all of that. There was so much socio-scientific misinformation floating around. It created rifts across our societies and within our societies, and sometimes even among friends. It was very, very difficult to know whom to believe and whom not, what to believe, what we should do, to find out what we should do, get vaccinated or not, and all these things. So given this conflicting information and the vast amount of mis and disinformation that we experienced at the time, that has really eroded trust in science and authorities and posed a great threat to our democratic societies. It's getting harder and harder to know whom to believe and not, and this whom not. And this mistrust in science is particularly unfortunate in the world we live in nowadays, that is facing so many global challenges that can only be solved with the help of science, and if we trust scientists and follow their advice. For example, we already talked about pandemics, but there's also obviously climate change, climate migration, environmental pollution, and so on. So many, many, many global issues that can be solved only with the help of science. We refer to them as socio-scientific issues. So they're characterized by having a major societal impact. These are open-ended problems. There are no easy fixes. There are no easy solutions. There are always just diverse potential solutions. And being open-ended means that they're also controversial. They're very often. Scientists don't agree among themselves. There are controversies in society as such. And they also have in common that there's always an ethical dimension to them. And very often it's also on us. We need to take personal decisions to help solve these issues. Given that they're controversial and that there are no easy solution and that there is no ultimate truth, means that they're only informed opinions. We can base our actions mainly on informed opinions. Informed, obviously, being the key term here. Here it comes full circle. If there is so many mis and disinformation out there, it's getting really hard to know what to base our opinion on, how to create informed opinions. So taking this into account is probably one of the reasons why the World Economic Forum deemed mis- and disinformation as one of the most severe short-term risks, actually the major short-term risks in the next 2 years. And over a period of 10 years, it's only outranked by environmental issues, which are prime examples of socio-scientific issues, extreme weather events, critical change to Earth systems, biodiversity loss, and so on. And this, I believe, goes to show that one of the most important questions that our education system needs to answer at this time is how can teachers empower all learners to act as competent and effective democratic citizens in a world flooded by socio-scientific mis- and disinformation. And this is also reflected by the PISA assessment. So in this year's PISA 2025 assessment, the PISA Science Expert Group introduced a new science competency 3. They broadened the concept of scientific literacy to include the competencies related to researching, evaluating, and using information for decision making and action. So exactly what we were talking about. And the PISA 2029 assessment will focus primarily on media and artificial intelligence literacy. So dealing with information in this era, basically. And we started out with analyzing the competencies that the PISA Science Expert Group put forward for their PISA Science Competency 3. We did a literature review and we looked at the competencies that they found and looked at them in terms of the expertises required to nurture them. What we found is that expertise from a quite broad range of fields, from at least 4 broad domains, is required to nurture them. From language, from critical thinking, from media and information literacy, from civic literacies, and so on. So we believe that science teachers alone may be unprepared to foster these broad range of knowledge, skills, and attitudes that are needed or that our future generation needs to succeed in this world today. So this diverse range of skills, in our opinion, really calls for a cross-disciplinary approach. And hence we coined the term meta-scientific literacies. So the meta signals that it's not about scientific knowledge, it's about how to use science-based or science-related information in the interests of society. And our answer to the question how we can empower the learners, in this age is the meta-scientific literacies framework that we developed. So we started out doing a scoping literature review. We collected the competencies, knowledge, skills, attitudes that are typically associated with media literacy, critical thinking, digital literacies, and so on. And we saw that there is a huge overlap, which is not very helpful to teachers, if they want to know exactly what they should do and introduce these skills to the students. So we systematically integrated them into a framework or curriculum that follows how we actually encounter information. So we have 4 domains that follow the process that we go through when we find information, when we click on information, read information, and try to create an opinion based on that information. Let me quickly walk you through this. So when we search for something online, or when we read our social media feed, we are confronted just with headings, right? And when we do that, and when we decide on what to click, we need to be aware that the search results or the social media posts that we see may actually be limited by algorithms, pre-selected, pre-filtered. We need to recognize that we are in an information bubble sometimes, or what is also called echo chamber. We need to find search strategies and other strategies to get more information, more balanced information. We need to be able to very quickly exclude search results or social media feed posts that are not relevant for the question at hand, and we need to become very, very good, and our students need to become very, very good at selecting the most credible information sources. So once we've decided what to click on, we then click on the information and look at a given piece of information and need to be able to critically analyze the information we see. And critically analyzing implies being able to differentiate between fact and opinion, identifying biased information, also looking at the logical consistency of information, and then to select the most informative and relevant insights for us to base our opinion on. That's the next step then, making up our minds. And this requires that we need to look at an issue, a socio-scientific issue, comprehensively, to take into account all the different viewpoints, to know about the potential impacts and solutions and the parties affected by a social scientific issue. For example, what may be good for one part of society may be not so good for another. Let's take fast fashion as an example. Obviously, we are against that, but there are people who make their living based on fast fashion. So if we, reduce that, people may lose their jobs. So there are always different sides, different parties affected, and there are always trade-offs. And this is the next step. Evaluate the trade-offs between the scientific, the social, and ethical dimensions. And in the end, we need to be able to weigh these different viewpoints against our own viewpoints to make up our minds. And if you want us and our students to be active democratic citizens, we also need to teach them how to speak out and take action. So to design a plan for civic engagement, to teach them how to inform others objectively, how to bring across information objectively, inform, but also perhaps to, if you want to convince others of your point of view, to argue, and finally to take action, for example, as part of serving learning projects in schools. And in order to make it as practical as possible, we developed a competence-based approach and we broke down the competencies into smaller and smaller and smaller units that progressively build on each other, so that you can pick one small sub-competence, include it in your regular lesson, and make it very practical this way. So these broad 4 competencies that align with the domains are broken down into learning objectives first, then into learning outcomes. These learning outcomes are phrased with Bloom's verbs to make them easy to assess. And then we broke them down even further into what we call hows. These are the steps that guide learners towards achieving a specific learning outcomes, and at the same time, they guide teachers in creating activities that help learners achieve a specific learning outcome. So this is what we did. Again, to give you an example, let's zoom into click and think critically, our second domain, and look at identify biased information, which is one of our learning goals. So in order to identify biased information, students need to identify manipulation strategies. How? By examining the use of rhetorical devices, by identifying sensational emotional language. And this is something that can be done very, very well, for example, in language subjects. They need to be able to identify deceptive tactics by checking if the information presents multiple viewpoints or is very one-sided, by evaluating whether the author messenger might have a motive, such as financial benefit, political gain, fame, and so on, may want to influence others. There's a whole profession that makes good money from that, and that doesn't want to inform but influence, and we need to be aware of that. And the last part is something that can be done very well, for example, in civics education, and this goes to show how these different competencies can be looked at and tackled and integrated into different subjects. And teachers do not have to reinvent their teaching to do that. We provide them and you with a step-by-step approach on how to adapt the teaching and materials. The subject-specific lesson goals remain unchanged. We do know that teachers do not have the time to, do all these extra things. So we really tried to come up with an approach that allows you to weave these meta-scientific literacies into your everyday teaching in a way that they complement the subject-specific learning goals, and they help to deepen subject knowledge. So it's a win-win situation, basically. And we really believe that every lesson, however small, contributes to empowering students by fostering the skills to detect and resist misinformation. And to quote Jonathan Osborne once more, it's about really dealing with information, as I said, not about the knowledge, because many of the flawed arguments that we come across in social media rely on science that is way beyond what we teach at school anyways. So it's more about knowing and finding out which sources to trust and how to detect mis and disinformation. This also, I think, goes hand in hand with rethinking education and make it more modern. In our world, knowledge is readily accessible. We have the internet, we have AI, so knowledge is out there. School can't be about knowledge anymore only or mainly. And the global, these complex global issues that we talked about, they demand, there are no single discipline solutions. They demand students that can think across subject boundaries, that can bring together and contextualize the knowledge they have gained, and to connect their learning to real world problems. They need to integrate the knowledge with those 21st century skills that we just mentioned. Only then will they be able to contribute to addressing the most pressing global issues. And we help them to do that, by showing the way, a low prep way to cross-subject planning, by, for example, picking the same piece of information and looking at it from different perspectives in different subjects. I already mentioned the example of fast fashion. In ICT, for example, they can look at the credibility of information sources. In biology, they can look at the logical consistency of the information. In civics education, at these trade-offs we mentioned between scientific, social, and ethical dimensions. And in language instruction, they can practice how to inform others. And if we do that across subjects, if teachers of many subjects include these small sub-competencies, over time, the students will become meta-scientifically literate, and they will be able to deal with mis and disinformation. And as we said, every lesson counts. And let me finish by quickly showing you how we try to introduce teachers to our programs and to the framework. We have developed a university course, which is open to European students, and there will be a second run in 2026. And we've developed 5 professional development opportunities for in-service teachers that are being piloted right now and throughout 2026, and will then also continue to be offered at a European level. These are, if there are any in-service teachers from Europe here, here's the QR code. You can still apply for 5 of the trainings. Only 1 is full at this point. And for everyone else, and especially also you listening from South America, I warmly invite you to join our hub, which is a great thing. We bring together stakeholders from many, many different countries, many different disciplines. So at this point, we have 280 members from 30 different countries. And this is a sneak peek at our platform. As you can see here, there are many other teacher academies beyond Digital TA and SkillMe that have virtual booths there. You can visit those booths and find out about what they have to offer. You can connect with other teachers, find materials there, and so on. So the hub is open for everyone. Please go to our website, skillme.eu, and register. And that's it. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thanks, Maria, for your presentation. We share also the website, your website on the chat, so all the audience they can have also the option to connect to your website. Really powerful your presentation, and you are talking about ethical dimension, no? And it's totally clear that in your case, this project is really necessary. We need it. We can see it every day, and this idea of also to talk about the role the teacher have in all this information, and also the capacity and the idea of training all the kids and the young to understand and to see how a good information is built, no? And also the practical way you are doing it is really fascinating, really powerful. And I think probably now we are, in our case, finishing our project, but I would like to share on our platform the materials of your project, because we have a lot of teachers really interested by this question, and we see in our platform that this is a question for a lot of teachers: how to educate better, the kids in relation with disinformation, how to be or how to work on these competencies you show us. So we will try to share all the information. I would like to do it. I take advantage of this situation to ask you a case study. We need a case study from your experience. I will explain you after the webinar. So we have a question here related to the work you are doing. So we are missing more or less 1 year until the end of this project, I think. No?
1 year exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll finish at the end of May 2026.
What role do you think Teacher Academy can play in Europe? For us, we are finishing, so we have also an idea. But in your case, what role do you think Teacher Academy can play in Europe in the future, related also to the connection you had with different Teacher Academy? What do you see?
I think that the Erasmus Plus Teacher Academies are really the cornerstone of the European education area. It's a unique framework that brings together different stakeholders in education, especially universities, professional development providers, and schools. So I think it's one of the best opportunities to bridge the theory-practice gap that is still there. And as such, it's a huge opportunity. And I guess the second aspect is that we all live in a globalized world now, right? Even smaller companies work internationally on an everyday basis. There are many online meetings, cross-country collaboration is normal. And the Teacher Academy funding really makes it possible for us as well to work internationally. So in our case, we have international teams that meet in an online environment every 2 weeks. So we really work together in those small teams. We really co-create. It's not one team or one partner presenting something and the others, just providing feedback. We co-create from the very beginning. We brainstorm together. We develop all the outputs together. So I think it should be normal in education that you work with people from other countries and know it well, teach it better. So it's important that the teachers do it, that the university educators do it, and so that we are able to prepare our students for future job realities and put our brains together and develop good outcomes together.
Thanks for your response. So I will try to share a little bit also our output, and I will come back with a question. Can you let me share my screen, Maria, please?
I think so.
Thank you. So regarding what Maria just talked about, in our case is really interesting because we have also this, we are a transnational community of teachers. So we have nowadays in our platform more than 1,000 users. And there is also this question of the importance of the transnationality, and the question of sharing this idea of the future, or basically the basic idea of sharing is a sort of summary of what we developed during these 3 years, and this possibility of sharing with someone from outside, which is really powerful in order to learn to be a better teacher in our case. So I will present a little bit some ideas regarding our digital academy. I will share my screen. Okay. Yes, you can see my screen, huh? Okay, perfect. No sé hacer esto. A ver. Presentación, sí. No tengo segunda. No. Ujú. No. No pasa nada, dejémoslo así. Gracias. Sorry, I had some technical problem. Okay, no worry. So in that case, you were talking about Maria about rethinking teaching and for an education of these times. No, in that case, it's really crazy because we try in our project to look for good experiences, and we sometimes found very old experiences, educational experiences. So we want to transform this present for and improve the future. But sometimes the old methodology, they are very good. In our case, we use active methodology and the methodology, reflexive methodology. So with this methodology, we developed a platform called Digital TA, and it's about transition. So basically, we start thinking about this project when we analyze that one on three teachers let or decide to not working after 5 years of experience, which is a huge problem, a big problem for Europe. And from this idea, we developed a study, and based on the study of the needs of the teacher, the newly qualified teachers, and in order to understand why there is this attrition regarding the work, we finally design solutions based on a very simple but also powerful methodology called the reflexive methodology. So it's not new, but it's really it's an active methodology based on self-reflection, also support from the community, and also support from the peers. So now we have basically learning community with more than 1,000 teachers. I will just talk some minutes and show you what is happening in our website. So regarding the project, yes, we are 18 partners from Europe. We are from so the full partner are AP from Belgium, Universidad Europea del Atlántico and Funiver from Spain, University of Limerick from Ireland, Olomouc Palacky University from Czech Republic, Jan Kochanowski from Poland. And we have also 2 continuous training institutions, which is really powerful in our teacher academy. We have this different view on the same subject. We have Segovia, the professional continuous training from Segovia, and SCDN from Segovia, Spain, and SCDN from Poland. After 36 months working, we developed, so from this need detection, a common model in order to understand the needs of the newly qualified teacher and also the young student teachers. And we have now 1,070. We had, sorry, during the process of piloting, 1,700 teachers, students, and mentors, with this clear idea of they are really motivated by the influence of their work on the young generation. And finally, after these 3 years working, we have a really unexpected impact with more than 1,000 users in our platform. We have 271 educational institutions, etc., etc. So regarding this impact, I would like to talk about the process, a little bit the process we did. In that case, our logo is a bridge. So we work on a bridge from the first moment of training, so the initial training, to the first year working, in order to improve the practical training of the students. It was the first idea. By facilitating this transition and the bridge from the university to the first year of work. Finally, with this is they are my colleagues from the Digital TA consortium. From these meetings, from also all the discussion we had during these 3 years, we build with also the teachers. And the teachers, in that case, she's Magdalena. She's from SCDN from Poland. She's a teacher from Poland. We build with these teachers an ethical space, which is really interesting, because after working a lot, after discussing a lot, finally we build an ethical space where the community of learning is giving support to the young teachers by the participation of the young teacher. I mean, this is we need the participation of all the individuals in order to also give support to these individuals. The platform has become an ethical space. I will show you this space just after that. In the sense of Emmanuel Levinas, the starting point of our professional learning is not only related to initial training and theoretical learnings, but it remains in the professional community, where one finds support and shelter, but also where each member affirms through their action their responsibility to work toward other teachers. It means that we saw after 3 years that the main learning is related to the possibility to connect with other teachers. So the reflection or the self-reflection will be done if I think that there is someone on the other side reading what I'm sharing, which is really powerful. And this second idea also of Henrique Dussel, in this sense, the creation of this learning community has a higher meaning for the teaching identity. So there is also connection with the teaching identity, aiming for a totality that is a co-produced identity. So beyond the ego, we have also beyond this idea of initial training, very individual and centered on the ego, we have with this possibility of connection with the other, the co-production of an identity, And this idea, and we are coming back to the community in our project. So we think that basically these two questions are building an ethical space, which is one of the main, and also very connected what you said, Maria, with this ethical dimension. In our case, is the main finding of our project. I would like to show you quickly, just for your information, the website we have. So this is the digital TA that EU. This is our website. Here you have the academy access. So this is the academy. I will put, sorry, English. So this is the academy, the Teacher Academy, Digital Teacher Academy, where you will find the possibility to explore experiences of other teachers, young teachers, so newly qualified teacher, but also student teacher. You will have the possibility to see the experiences on Spanish, Polish, and all the languages of the consortium, but also the possibility to translate these experiences in your own language, which is really interesting. You will have the possibility to share your experience. If you start sharing the experience, you will see that there is a self-reflected itinerary with questions. So you have to answer to these questions. You can use written language, but also you can record yourself. It's totally possible. So this is basically the main support. It's self-reflective, self-reflected support. But also, if you see and if you check, my teacher are boring. This is a good question. You have here the possibility to comment what a user is sharing. You can also write something. So this is the second dimension of the support. So the self-reflective, and the second one is from the community. So you will receive comment from the community, and you have also the possibility to connect with tutor and mentor. They are normally teachers with years of experience. You will have the possibility to see. And this is one of also the possible support case study. So it means that this is a case I share some weeks ago, so 1 month ago. In that case, is about the Lancasterian model of learning. So you will have the possibility to see a case study. So in that case, this case study, I share it because I did on the university. I work on this case study, on this experience, and it was a really interesting experience. That's why I'm sharing this experience. So as a teacher, you can read this experience and take some notes of if this experience is interesting for you. You can use it on your own classroom. And finally, you have here possible resources to find related to the topic you are interested by. As a last information, and it was also the first information I had to talk, but I forget it. You have here the 7 main theme. So these seven main theme were described by our research. So we did a research during the first year. We found that on the newly qualified teachers concerned, they were basically related to this 7 main theme, but there is also others. And these others are, there is a lot of things, you can check it, and you will find also all different experiences. So not all the theme are related to these 7 theme, there is also new theme. So as you see, by this 3-4 way to be supported, the newly qualified teacher or the students will find like a big hug, no shelter, in this digital TA academy. So this is basically our result. The platform will be open after the project live, with this idea of contributing to a better support. And as I say, Maria, I would love to have one case study from you about the topic you are working on your project, and about this question of mistrusting in science, and all the aspects you comment some minutes ago. So we have here yes,
Thomas, can I say congratulations? You've really created an amazing product. I had early access to the platform, and it's absolutely amazing. I think it's so important that the teachers form this community and they don't feel so alone. They have such an important job in our world, and so many different challenges, as you could see, classroom management, social emotional learning, the digital world, etc. It's great that you support them to get together and to build bridges, as you said, across different subjects, and also within the teacher staff, and just be more open up their classrooms to other teachers. It's amazing.
No, and it was crazy. Thanks, Maria. Thanks. It was really interesting because when we did the pilot, I mean, we have all this way to be supported, which is really interesting. But the only fact to think that there is someone reading what I'm sharing, my concern. I mean, we are talking about really daily life questions. About conflict in a classroom with a kid, about the difficulty we saw, for example, in Poland, to talk with families. So for the young teachers, they are really important topics. So we can see that this young teacher, the simple fact to have the possibility to share this question with someone, they feel better, So that's why it was really, really important. But finally, as you said, as a also project co-coordinator, for me, the question of the ethical dimension, so the ethic, is one of the main, questions I see after 3 years. We developed an ethical space, so that's why I'm really proud of these results. Yeah. I would like to share a case study, Maria. We have to work on a case study. Yes.
We will, and you've really created something that will last, and that is such a huge success, because we know that many projects, it's really difficult, to keep going when the funding ends. And you have really created something that will last and that is sustainable, and that is a huge thing. It's really
totally. So I have a question for you, Maria. We are now after these 3 years of work, in your case 2 years working on the project. So it's a very big question, but also I think we need. We have our daily life work, and the two projects they give us a lot of energy, and we have to give a lot of energy to this project. But I will ask you basically, what are the challenges for a democratic education in your case? So you are working on this question of disinformation. We are working on the question of the transition and the attrition. So where do we start?
Where do we start? Easy to answer, right? No, let's start with looking at what democracy actually means. Democracy means that the decision-making power is held by the people, right? So, and on the one hand, I think our world has become more democratic, with knowledge being more accessible for everyone. So everyone can hold this power of knowledge. And this is true in school as well, by the way. Teachers no longer have a knowledge monopoly. AI and the internet have changed things. Students can find out things pretty much on their own now. So in that way, education needs to change. And with this knowledge being readily accessible, obviously also comes misinformation, disinformation, and so on. So there's not just the upside, as I said, but also the downside. And we need to consider that at school. I would consider that one of the biggest challenges for democratic education. And the thing is that I think traditional initial teacher education is very much knowledge focused. Teachers are very well trained and well equipped to teach knowledge, right? To help students gain knowledge. I wonder if they're as well prepared to promote skills related to processing information, to discovering mis and disinformation, malinformation, and so on, which play a huge part in democracy these days. We know that if democracy is that the people can make the decisions. Well, when can we make decisions? When we agree on something, right? Decision making requires a collective agreement. And if there's so much conflicting information out there, this is really hard to do. And I guess this is where we need to start. The education system needs to adapt to the world we live in. Subject knowledge is still important. Don't get me wrong. It's important to lay a solid foundation of basic knowledge. But at the same time, we also need to make sure that the learner's knowledge does not remain compartmentalized, subject specific, and unconnected. We need to make sure that the teachers reach out to each other so that learners can actually, is exactly what you're promoting, so that learners actually can bring together the knowledge they acquired in different subjects, because most of our school systems still rely on subject-specific teaching. We need to find ways to build bridges across the different subjects and help students to integrate the subject-specific knowledge with more general skills. Those we mentioned, the 21st century skills before: problem solving, media information literacies, communication, collaboration, creativity skills, etc. So I guess it's a good thing that this curriculum is out there, because it's a good start, I believe. Yeah, and the second thing I would say is that opening up education, making it more international, is really important as well. If we think about democracy and democratic values, respecting each other, tolerating each other, that's easier when we know each other. So doing exchange programs, Erasmus Plus is such a huge opportunity here in Europe, making teachers more mobile, job shadowings, teacher trainings, and so on, and providing the opportunity to our learners to also go abroad, to see different perspectives, to hear them, and to discuss them. I think that is the way to go forward.
Yes, I totally agree with you. And in order to finish also this webinar, I will point to one of the objective of this teacher academy, which is the to build a European from the education background. So we know that our Europe was built as an economic space, but now we are looking for something different. And this is our main particularity, and we are different because we are also our differences as Europeans are also related to education and the way we are building this education. So that's why our teacher academy are really important, and for the democratic education and for the peace. We need to work on this exchange and the interculturality. We are really different from all the continents, and I'm so really proud to be a part of this building of this idea of building this Europe of education. So let's see what's happened with our project. In our case, we want to be sustainable. We will use our outcomes. So all the users and the person connected now, they can perfectly use our digital TA that EU platform, and being users improve also the platform. So building this community of learning, I think we will have a better education for our teachers. So thanks, Maria, for your participation today. I hope to see you soon. We will be, for your information, in Brussels during the next months. We will have a meeting with all the teacher academy, also to see the impact after these 3 years of teacher academy and how to improve all the call related to the teacher academy. So thanks for the audience. Thanks, Maria, for your time, and see you soon.
See you soon, Thomas. Thank you for
Bye
having
bye.
me.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.